Hi there. Thank you for joining me on the Passionative podcast, where we talk about following your passion, creativity, and doing what you love. This is your host Sagar Mehta, and with me on the call is John Westenberg. John is the founder of Creatomic, which is a communication, public relations, and ad tech practice, and The Voidist, which is a publication that houses essays on creativity, sexuality, and technology. John himself is a prolific writer, and his articles have been featured on HuffPost, Business Insider, and the Thought Catalog. He is a serial writer and is infamous for the healthy dose of swearing his writing generally has. So, hey John, welcome to the podcast, and I hope
Thanks,
that
man.
description was accurate.
Absolutely, thanks. It's good to be on here.
Okay, so I was reading this post that you did on Medium, and where you shared your process for writing 6 blog posts a week,
Yeah.
right? So what I got from that was that I think you must be writing just simply every day. You're big on that you have to create a daily habit where you can focus on writing.
That's correct, yeah. I
Right.
make it very much a part of my life, a part of my schedule, and one of my top priorities.
Okay. How do you think writing every day helps? Do you ever think that you have to edit out a lot of stuff that you write every day, or you're just pumping out golden stuff right away?
Cool. So, there's a couple points I want to make here.
Yeah.
The reason writing every day is so effective is because it enables you to practice and hone your craft. It's pretty much like playing the piano. You're not going to be a great pianist because you've learned to play once and then every 6 months you open up the keyboard and play a few notes. You become a great pianist by sitting down every single day at that piano and hammering away at the keyboard until your skills are better than you could ever imagine they would be.
Yes.
And the same thing happens with writing. If you make sure that you make the time to write every single day, then that writing will only improve. It can only improve. There is literally no way for your writing to get worse if you write every day. It's a win-win scenario. Now, when I do write every day, it's not all good. Some of it is going to be pretty shit, if I'm being really honest. But I have a policy of never deleting anything.
I see. Okay.
So when I've written something, even if I read back over it and it sounds pretty crap to me, does not matter. It won't get deleted. I'll keep it saved. And every couple of weeks, I'll go through those archives and I'll have a look at some of the stuff I've written and try to work out if there's something about it that I can improve on or turn into a new piece or use with a new piece of writing. And it just helps me to constantly have that body of work that I'm always adding to.
I see. Okay. And you just do this every day as a habit, right? That you
Every
don't.
day. Yep.
Yeah.
Not even a habit. It's a ritual. Like when I'm
Yeah,
when
that's
I'm
the
up
word.
every
Yeah.
single day. It doesn't matter if I've slept in, and there's a choice between writing or getting breakfast. I'm going to do the writing first.
That's a good one. So you share a lot of life lessons that people love to read, which is why I see that a lot of people follow you on Medium.com just for that. So was this on purpose, or did this just happen because you just love to write and create, and this was just one topic that you were interested in?
Sure. So I would probably hesitate to call them life lessons. I'm not sure
Okay.
that I've spent enough time in my life to learn information that can be turned into lessons. But what I will say is that over the past 10 years, I've done a lot of shit. What have I done? I started my first business. I sold my stake in my first business. I toured full-time in a band. I worked in a cafe. I was very briefly working in several corporate jobs. I've done a whole lot of stuff. So when I write from a place where I'm thinking about my experiences and I'm trying to make sense of it myself. And in doing so, I guess I translate it into a format that other people can find something to learn from as well. So when I talk about my writing and people say, oh, it's life hacks or it's a life lesson, I don't so much look at it that way as me publicly trying to explore the life that I've had and find lessons in it for
Okay.
myself.
And you do a lot of listicles. Do you find them limiting from some time to time? Like they don't let you make a point when you want to?
I don't do listicles. I've done them in the past,
Yeah.
but I don't do them anymore. So that's sort of a promise I've made to myself as a writer. I don't
Okay.
use that format. I'll occasionally use it when it's on johnwestenberg.com or
Okay.
when a publication like Huffington Post or Time requests something in that format, then I'll do it. But when I'm writing on Medium, I never write listicles anymore, and that's just something that I'm pretty set on. And you're right in saying that, yeah, it can be very limiting. But not only that, I find listicles can often cheapen your content.
Right.
They discourage people from going deep into it, and they encourage people to just scan a page, you know?
Yeah, just go from point to point and just skip the whole content.
Exactly, and I don't want that. I want people to really
Yeah.
read my work. I want to read every fucking word if I can, you know? Like, that's my goal. That's my goal right there.
Right. And you also get a lot of hate for being as popular as you are because there were so many people criticizing you. They kind of made you the scapegoat of self-improvement gurus out there. And I just loved how you handled that. How difficult was it to hear so much criticism and not let it get to you?
Thanks, man. Thanks for the kind words. Well, look, it does get to me. I'm going to be very honest with you. When someone is cruel, or when someone criticizes your work, or when they launch a personal attack, no matter how distanced you feel you are, you're always going to be a little bit affected by that. What I've always found the trick is to just take a step back, just shut down your laptop, put down your phone, take a walk. Once I do that, once I sort of put some distance between myself and the negative feedback and the experience of being shouted at online, I find it all just falls away. You know, I kind of realize, hey, it doesn't matter that much. If a whole bunch of people think I'm the worst fucking thing in the world, and a whole bunch more people really enjoy and take something away from my writing, then I know which of those groups of people is more important to me. So that's who I'm going to listen to. When you're right in the moment and someone's yelling at you, it's hard to see that separation. But if you just take a step back, put some distance between yourself and them, you'll be able to see it a lot easier, and you won't let it bother you quite so much.
Right. I also think it just comes with the territory. No matter
it does,
how,
absolutely. Yeah.
It doesn't matter how much good stuff you create. It doesn't matter what stuff you create. Somebody somewhere is going to hate it nonetheless.
Exactly. I mean, you look at every public figure in history and pop culture everywhere. You look at every artist. You know, there are people online who go around on Twitter saying the Beatles suck. You know, I mean, that's the Beatles. There are people who hate the Rolling Stones. There are people who hate every author
right
in the world. There is always going to be someone who wants to point out why you suck, just to make themselves feel better about their lives, just to be different, just because you don't appeal to them. It doesn't matter, you know. So as soon as you have enough people enjoying your work, you're always going to have some people hating it, and that's life.
That's true. Sometimes I get the impression that people hate somebody just because they aren't successful and that other person is. But most of the times, I think it's because the way they are successful, the person that they hate, that does not match with how they themselves think somebody should be successful. Because we all have these
That's
ideas
right,
that it should be in a particular way, you should be popular for a particular thing only in a particular way. And if it doesn't match, then that's where the discomfort comes from.
Oliver Wendell Holmes said that between two groups of people who want to create inconsistent kinds of worlds, he could see no remedy but force. And I think that really applies when you're talking about the way people see the online world. You know, everyone has a type of an internet that they want to see, or a type of a platform that they want to see. And when other people don't match up to it, they find it really hard to see that other people have a right to create the kind of content and read the kind of content that they like.
Right.
And people just want to put a stop to it and make sure that only one particular kind of content is available to be consumed, you know? And I think that's just a problem.
So let's talk about the Voidist, the publication that you launched on Medium. What is it about, and why did you decide to start it?
Sure. So the Voidist is a new media publication. Now, what we're doing is we're publishing personal essays on politics, on technology, on sexuality, and on sex. Now, the reason behind choosing these topics is that we wanted to, ideally we'd cover every topic under the sun. We'd have personal essays on most news topics, but we can't do that, and we have to focus on some niches. And those topics were things that really deeply interested myself and my co-founders, Lily and McLeod. And we really wanted to try and make those areas just some niches on Medium that we were publishing some of the best stuff available in. And we're not there yet, but we're going to get there. And what we want to do is redefine what it means to be a new media publication. You know, in the old days, if you wanted to start some kind of platform, you would make a website, a really big website like NewYorkTimes.com, and then you would support that with all this infrastructure, and you would use all your surrounding channels, your Twitter account, your Facebook account, your Snapchat, all that thing, to drive traffic back to your website.
Right.
Now, that used to work, but I'm not convinced that it works anymore. And you have people like BuzzFeed who are estimating that most of their content isn't actually produced for the website. It's produced for each of their individual channels,
Okay.
So when we were talking about how we were going to start a new media publication, we thought, well, why not embrace that BuzzFeed model? Why not move completely away from having this big, cumbersome website and just have individual distribution channels like Tumblr, Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, Snapchat, Peach, and Medium, and focus on creating content and crafting an experience each of those individual channels and making that the face of the Voidist. And that's what we're really trying to do. That's what we're working towards.
Okay. And I think it's good to provide a platform to somebody, because if you're helping somebody out on their creative journey, because people are always looking for building their confidence with taking their stuff to the to the general crowd.
You're 100% right. Yeah, I mean, one of the writers that we've published recently, she's a young writer called Megan. She's pretty young, and her writing is incredible. She's got a great voice. She knows what she's talking about because she performs an immense amount of research. And she just approaches every topic with this sense of energy and enthusiasm. Some of her first work online has been published through the Voidist, and she has had a great experience because she's been able to find her first readers through us, and we've been able to publish someone that we believe in. So that's kind of where the motivation to keep evolving this platform comes from, is that we're giving a voice to young writers, and we're helping them to be people.
Right. So I saw a comment on one of your articles where, I'm not sure who it was, but some people didn't want you to write about feminism because you might turn out to be completely wrong about it because that wasn't your experience. Do you think that's fair?
I think it's completely wrong. I think that when it comes to feminism, it is incredibly, crucially, vitally important that the men in the world speak up, because we've benefited from years and years, thousands and thousands of years of misogyny, really,
Right,
and
yes.
oppression. Like, I saw a quote about this recently. It was from an Australian newspaper. Someone said that if you've lived your life in privilege, then equality feels like oppression. And I think that's the experience that a lot of men have, and they react negatively to feminism. And I think we need male voices to stand up among other men and say, hey, this is not okay. We have to support these women because they deserve to have everything that we have. And I know that some women do feel that a male shouldn't speak about feminism because he doesn't have that female experience. But what I would say is that, sure, we can't speak out about the female experience of sexism. But what we can speak out about is the male experience of being in this huge dystopian society where women just do not have the same rights, opportunities, and benefits that men have. And as men, we can speak about it from that place of privilege and say, hey, look at all the things that we have. That's not right. So sure, like it would be wrong for me to try to speak about the female
Right.
experience of feminism and sexism, but it is right for me to speak out about the male experience of it.
I was reading this popular book by Sheryl Sandberg, which is called Lean In, and
Love that book. One of my favorite books.
oh, okay, yeah, it's a great book, and I couldn't help but think that it's definitely true that women need to, and they already actually take up responsibility for their lives. But there's nothing wrong in men helping them out, and it's not like we are assuming that we should be helping them out. We are not taking a position of authority over them. It's just that it just makes logical sense that one half of the population helps the other half get their rights.
That's right. Yeah, 100%.
And I also think we should
But look,
create.
I'll say right now that I'm no expert on feminism. Like, I literally am just a guy who has seen that things aren't quite right.
Yeah.
But I'm informed by my relationship with an incredibly strong woman, my partner, and my relationship with my mum, who was just an incredibly amazing person. And so while I'm definitely no expert in any way, I do feel like I have something to say, and I want to say it.
That makes sense. Actually, it's quite the same at my home as well, because my mom is a single parent who brought me up alone, and then and to see her problems, and to have had a good relationship and friendship really with her, that has exposed me to a lot of issues that women generally face. And sometimes you just can't help yourself but notice these things and then have something to say about it.
100%, yeah.
Now, I also think that you have to create what you care about. You could be wrong, and then you start being right and understand if you have to do that.
Yeah.
So, how do you stay honest in your writing when you're writing so much? Do you ever get the feeling that you're repeating yourself?
I often repeat myself. Yeah. Well,
Okay.
let me put it this way. Um, if you come up with a style of music
Hmm.
and you really love that style of music and you believe in it and other people like listening to it, then you're going to keep on creating more of that style and doing variations on that theme, because that's how you make it even better, and that's how you keep spreading the message of that style to other people. I mean, look at some of the greatest artists in the world. Look at the work of Picasso. He would have various attacks on a certain theme, just trying to get his message across and trying to really interpret what he wanted to do through his medium and through recurring ideas. So when you're writing, people think that, oh, okay, you can't go back to the same themes, but I think you have to. I think that in order to make people understand what it is that you're trying to talk about and make as many people understand that as possible, you have to repeat yourself. You have to go back to the same themes, and you have to revisit ideas and make sure that you're pushing them out as much as you can.
Yes.
So I'm not apologetic about that at all. In terms of staying honest, I don't publish anything that I don't believe in. I think a big part of that is that I don't do advertising. I don't do affiliate marketing. I don't do any of that kind of monetization. People know that when I'm blogging, I'm someone who is building businesses. But they know that I'm not trying to make them click, click, click on a bunch of ads. And they know that I'm not trying to make them buy a whole bunch of products they don't need. So I think that contributes to that authenticity. And because I don't feel I have to do that stuff, I am always writing things that I believe in.
And it's also on a topic you care about. So when I see that when I write about something that I deeply care about, it doesn't matter how many times I have to say it, but I try to keep finding new ways of saying the same thing, because you never know what's gonna click with somebody and what
That's
sentence they're
right,
gonna
100%,
read,
yeah.
and just it would just a bulb would go off in their head for some
Yeah,
reason.
that's right.
And I'm sure you have slow days and low days as well. So how do you keep yourself going on those days? Is there any particular day that you remember was super hard and you still just went ahead and did it?
I have a lot of days like that.
Hmm.
So I'll be honest, the last 15 years or so of my life, I've been a person who struggled with depression.
Okay.
So I've definitely had periods of my life where I have not wanted to even get out of bed.
Hmm.
And it's really hard when you're facing that kind of emotion. It's really hard to make yourself get anything done, to make yourself write and accomplish things. Um,
Hmm.
Look, there's no easy answer to how I get through that. There's no quick solution. I have a whole bunch of things that I do to help myself get through moments like that. For example, I have this thing I do where it's called walk away. Anytime where I start to get those kind of emotions and start to really feel down and incapable and like I can't accomplish something, I stop it, walk away completely, and go and do something else. I just wipe my slate clean. I also try to keep a notepad with me where I write down all the emotions that I'm going through if I hit a low point, just to get it out of my system and get back to being productive. Most of the time, these things work. Most of the time, I just get it done. I don't try to worry too much about being the greatest writer in the world. That's not my concern. I don't worry about, this piece isn't the best thing I could ever do. All I have to do is get some things out of my head and publish what I can. That's my goal.
And I think when you work on something like this, like if you whether it's writing or in my case it's music, I've seen that when I'm doing that, it just helps me handle a lot of issues. Of course, there are days when nothing just comes out at all, and if you just
Yeah,
still go in there and just do it, just go through the process that you've set up, and you talk about this in your articles as well, that as long as you have a process and you go through that, it's likely that
yeah, absolutely.
you'll be able to produce. And do you think your writing helps you deal with those issues as well in some way?
I would say so. Yeah, it enables me to get some stuff out. Definitely.
Okay. Okay, those are all the questions that I have. If there's anything you want to add, I'm happy to hear.
No, that's about it, actually, mate. No, I'm pretty good. I'm glad to have had this talk with you.
Okay. Okay. Thanks for doing this, John. It has been an honor. Thank you.
Thank you very much for having me on, man. Thanks a lot.
Thank you for joining me on this episode of the Passionative podcast. I'm always happy to hear from you about your passion, your struggles, and your challenges. Simply go to Passionative.co and let's get talking. This is your host Sagar Mehta signing off. Stay awesome.